Hello, and welcome to the Chronicles of Nidum Appendices. This is just going to be a group of quick catch-up videos to help those people who would like to get into the story and watch along with us live on Sunday night, but don't have the time to troll through the 100+ hours we've streamed already. First of all, the characters and the world they grew up in. So, all were born in a land of myth and legend. A land where dragons stalk the mountains and command the skies, and where direwolves and all manner of fey creatures command the forest, and there really are reasons to fear the dark. They were born in Albion. For all of them, though, life was relatively safe as they grew up in the quiet little town of Nidum. As I said, it was a quiet but diverse town inhabited by many different races from all across the known world, all except one. The town of Nidum was a true community. Everyone there worked together for the common good, and everyone did their fair share, or more, if your neighbour needed a little help. Everyone there helped everyone else, from one mother looking after the young of many, so the others could work, to banding together to build a marital home as a gift for a newlywed couple. It was a happy town, but it was a town that no one ever left. Nidum is split into almost two separate villages. There is the walled market town, maintained for years beyond measure from what once was an old fort left behind by the men of Rom thousands of years ago. That town is run and kept up by the older generation. They are the ones that greet outsiders on the monthly market day. The younger generations, however, stay away, especially the humans. As far as outsiders know, there are no young humans in the town of Nidum. Second to the fort then is the true town of Nidum, across the river surrounded by thick forest and almost invisible from a distance. This is the village of family homesteads, taverns and shops, used only by the residents. This is where the young live and laugh and learn, where they thrive into productive members of the town when they choose their path. The village is looked over by Knoll Manor, a stately home owned by the Lord of Nidum. He's not been seen in an age, but his laws and decrees, always benevolent, are handed down and passed on by his council and the sheriffs. They oversee the town, but most of all, they take a personal hand in the future of the town's young people. They are the rangers that take apprentices, the wizards that take students, and the master at arms that teach sword and mace. Education is paramount for the young in Nidum, but not of the outside world. That knowledge is prohibited to anyone not of age. There are lessons on language, all religions are allowed and equally venerated and learned about. All cultures, except one, are taught, and lessons on all manner of monster and beast. Knowledge of far-off lands is given and absorbed, but only a vague history of the land immediately surrounding Nidum. The true knowledge is held in trust for when you're old enough for the burden. There are very few rules in Nidum, because they don't have to be. Everyone knows what is expected of them for the town to thrive, and everyone understands their part. There are very few rules in Nidum, but there are some, but the need for them has not been seen in living memory. These, though, are rules set in the stone of a mother's voice in your cradle, taught between nursery rhymes and lullabies. Rule 1. Never raise your eyes to meet those of an elf. Rule 2. Never raise your voice to an elf. Rule 3. Never raise your hand to an elf. And Rule 4. Never lead an elf to town. The oldest of this generation, coming to their name day, where they would discover or find out more about the outside world, was Oriana. A purple tiefling as bright and intelligent as her mouth was foul and wicked. Oriana was an orphan girl with a quick wit, who answered to no one growing up, save her adopted gnome parent, Nan, who was quick to give her sound wisdom and guidance, as she was to beat sense into her with an overly large wooden spoon. Oriana was a quick learner of a great many things and studied under many tutors, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time. But as she grew, so did her wild nature, which reflected, of course, the wild magic that was growing inside her. Out of all of her generation in Nidum, Oriana longed the most to leave and find out what was really out there, but cared enough to wait, at least until her quieter friends might be able to join her. The quietest of those friends was Ace. Ace grew up the only child of the town's most respected human blacksmith. Being the only child of a single parent, Ace reflected all of the qualities of their father: a quiet, hard-working, dedicated man of faith. In Ace, though, as a child, this came across as shyness, and made people believe they were even a touch naive. Ace would have continued to be socially awkward well into adulthood, if not for the others of their generation that they met, who managed to bring them out of their shell with their wildness and their curiosity. In their friends, Ace found a new aspect of their personality: loyalty. In Ace, this quality grew and became so passionate and ferocious that it eventually drew the notice of higher powers. One with very little time for higher powers, or anything she couldn't actually put her hands on to see how it worked, was Dice. Dice was born in Nidum to two foreign parents and was quickly discovered to be the most inquisitive child, if not the most inquisitive creature, across the lands or plains. From a very young age, if Dice was not asking questions, her parents were safe in the knowledge that they could be found somewhere reading a book or tinkering with one of the many gnomish technologies or contraptions in town. It was this curiosity in her pawn shop for getting into trouble for her tinkering, sometimes leading to explosions, that drew the respect and awe of others of her generation, where Dice found her perfect spot, nestled just in between the wildness of Ori and the calmness of Ace. The most out-of-place member of the group was Sepsis. Though a resident of Nidum for as long as they could remember, Sepsis knew nothing of the town or others of their age growing up. So all Sepsis knew was pain and deprivation. The apprentice of the local wizard that lived in the town in the woods outside Nidum, harshness was all Sepsis knew. Their obviously mad master would often remind them that they were from a race extinct in this plane, and that their arrival had been a literal accident, summoned in some failed ritual years ago. Sepsis would never have known anything about outside of the tower, if not for another failed summoning ritual. This time the shadowy figure that stepped through struck their master dead, and left with a chuckle and a dark smile that spoke of promises not yet made. Fearful of their newfound freedom, Sepsis left the tower with little but their master's overly large cloak, but was fortunate enough, after leaving, that the first person they bumped into was Ace, whose shy, caring demeanour but strong and powerful frame led Sepsis to choose them as their protector, and was quick to ingratiate themselves into their life and the lives of their friends. So it was then, as all the friends, old and new, approached their coming of age on Midsummer's Eve, hours before they would go through the ceremony that would teach them all about the outside world, they found themselves in a field just outside of town, heading towards choices they were ill prepared to make, but ones that would change their fates